And let me go to IG and do what I
We'll
need.
get this thing figured out.
There we go. We on IG.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We'll get it figured out, man.
I'm figuring it out piece by piece because IG is different.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
All right, let me I want to check this on my iPad.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, see? On my iPad, we got it.
We
Yeah,
in
there we
there. We in
go.
there. We in there properly. There we go.
All right, so let's get started. So, for everybody here today, my name is Yusha Assad. In 2019, I wrote a song entitled "Heal Me," featuring Grammy-nominated artist Raheem Devon, which discussed the things that I learned from my father as a young man about how to cope with pain and difficulty, and inadvertently some very unhealthy habits of how to cope with that. And so I started the Heal Me campaign in 2020 as a way of helping men, especially black men who may be going through difficulties, to one, understand that they're not alone, two, to see that they can actually make it through, and then three, to hear some strategies from brothers who have made it through difficult times and then employ those strategies for themselves so that they could ultimately get to a place of peace, power, and purpose. All of us have known people, especially black men, who have gone through what we would consider to be the dark night of the soul or some dark period of life. We've all known brothers who have gone through it and not made it out. And so the goal here is that these conversations will help brothers who are in those difficult times make it out.
Let's go. Let's go.
Guest today is Brother Paul Spann. I want to let him tell you more about who he is and what he does, and then we're going to get into the show for the day. Paul, tell us who you are. What do you do?
Man, firstly, thank you, brother. The first thing I am, brother, is blessed. That's the first thing I am. The first thing I am is blessed. I'm overtly grateful. One, for the breath of life. I'm very grateful to be on this platform with you and to be speaking with you. My name is Paul Black Man Spann. That's my moniker. I'm a creative. I am a personality, whatever you would call it. More importantly, brother, I am a father and newly grandfather. And I have a few things in the makings, man. I'm gonna have a new podcast coming out probably in a couple months, and I am working very diligently right now on prayerfully being an author by this time, by my birthday next year. So I'm working diligently on working on that and getting it to the people, man. Getting my voice out there and honestly just doing some things to help further my family, my son, and leave some things here for my grandchildren.
Absolutely. Well, listen, first of all, congratulations, on
Thank you.
the grandchild.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
and, best wishes on the podcast, putting that out and getting to where you need to be.
You already know.
Continuously growing, continuously building. We want to get started with today. So I want to tell everybody who's watching how this works. So essentially, we will play the song first, Heal Me, featuring Raheem Devon. And then
Great
our
song.
guest will, thank you, brother. Then our guest will give us their feedback on the song as it directly connects to them, right? So not necessarily how they feel about the song, but how it relates to them, what they heard that relates to them. Then after that, we'll dive right in. The first part we'll talk about is like what I like to ask the question, what broke you? And the reason why I use that language is because the goal for this month is to talk to those brothers who've had their Job moment, right? Their point where they could have just given up and let it go. But they came back into their own. And so the first question is what broke you? From there, we'll talk about vices and things that they may have dealt with in order to cope. We'll move into the turning point, right? What was the turning point for them, the change that they had? And then we'll talk about what they currently do to what they did to come out of that space, but then what they currently do to maintain their spirit. And then we'll finish with our three P's. So for you who are tapped in today, we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna start with the song. Paul, you ready?
I'm ready, brother. You know I'm ready.
There we go.
Let's go.
So
See, my father never talked too much. Just that look in his eyes, deep stares out the window, told me that life was simple, but I would never know what he would never reveal. A sharp look in his face was pain he would conceal. He inadvertently taught me that real men don't feel, so don't follow your heart. Use it to advance your cause, but always follow your thoughts and make a smart decision. You should barely apologize and never ask permission. And when the world does a thing to try to break you down, don't tell a soul. They waiting just to take your crown. Your woman gon' think you weak if you express your pain. Your men gon' say you sweet, though they be feeling the same. So get a vice now. Couple Hennessy, cigarette, live your life. Whatever you gotta do to get sleep at night. Cause for the longest you probably ain't sleeping right. Or even slept at all. When God calls, don't fight it, take a sigh of relief. That you ain't gotta live no more in this grief. Yeah, the cruel world that we living in is hard and cold. You ain't a man till it scars your soul. Straight up, so don't ever express your feelings. Sit in silence. Cause the only feelings you get are anger, hate, and violence. And see, the system got a process and a plan for that. Time is the only thing you got, so never hand them that. So if you ever truly feel like you about to break, get you a pencil and a notebook, let your mind escape. Writing is the only place where we can feel free. After he died, I read his notebook, he wrote, "Hail me." Heal me. Father, don't nobody understand me. I won't make it out unless you come down and heal me. Heal me. They don't know the pain I've been going through. I call on your name cause I know that you can heal me. Was he really that strong? Or just putting up a front? Did death come too soon? Or was it something he won? After 66 hard years of hiding them tears, did he get a reward? Well, let me make this clear that I think his vice got him. The thing he used to cope with life just took the life out of him. Them cigarettes that he was smoking all them stressful days. But we still had a few good days, and I knew, cause he would smoke one or two, but otherwise a pack. I used to ask him not to smoke again, but what I should have said was breathe, pop, don't hold it in. We do yoga to get peace these days, but them Carolina preachers didn't teach these ways. It was suffer and survive. If you don't get your blessings in this life, if you tired, you can get them when you die. He used to hit that cigarette and play too much, that he got cancer and ain't say too much. He said, heal me. Father, don't nobody understand me. I won't make it out unless you come me out and heal me. Heal me. They don't know the pain I've been going through. I call on your name cause I know that you can heal me. I'm thankful for my outlet cause without these lines, the ability to filter pain out this mind, I don't know what I would be doing like right this time. My nerves would be just like these minds, ready to blow up when you get on my last, but my heart's sincere. On my health and my wealth this year, I can't let nobody turn me around, as the choir would say. Rebuke the devil when he trying to play. To all my niggas who be going through pain, they won't say shit about it. To ask for help don't mean you shit about it. That just means you love your life. One of your vice, you rolling dice if you don't get about it. We handle problems and forget about it. I learned this lesson a few years ago. Drinking Hennessy every night, they want the tears to flow. I was trying to numb the pain, I couldn't feel me. To get through it, I had to write, so I wrote Hail Me. Lord, heal me.
Man. The power of art, bro. The power of art.
What's how do you relate to that, man? You know, that's the story of my father, and how those lessons came down to me as a black man. How do you relate to that?
I relate to it in the myriad of ways, and I'm gonna try to make this as simple as possible because it's like a 3-part to my answer, right? I have both a biological father and a stepfather. My stepfather, who is my father, who I love, who has raised me since I was 2, nurtured me. The reason even in my moniker is Paul Black Man Spann is because of him. I took his name on myself. I also have a biological father who currently I'm getting to know, who prior to this point, I'm 45 years old. Prior to this point, in life, I've had maybe 6 conversations with him in life, right? I've been blessed enough to have the love and the nurture by my stepfather, right? I've been blessed enough to have that. Nonetheless, it still didn't take away the thought process, the ideology, and even the pain of knowing that I had a biological father that just never had anything to do with me, right?
Right.
That was just the reality of it. Like I said, it's even a little more complex now because I'm beginning to have a relationship with him now as an adult, and it's interesting. But back to how it relates to the song. My father, who is my father, Jerome Spann, his dad didn't raise him with a lot of overt sensitivity, right? He's a country guy from South Carolina. You understand what I'm saying? So like a lot of those direct things that you talk about directly in the song are some of the epithets that he was raised with. You understand what I'm saying? Like in truth, my grandfather was also like abusive to his kids. So with that, and now that's not a trait that passed on to my father. He's a consummate man. He taught me love. He taught me all those things. But like the overt levels of like sensitivity and all those things, I didn't learn from him. I learned love. I learned emotional fortitude. I learned how to be a stand-up person and all those things. But that he wasn't taught overtly about the largest element of feelings and all those things. So in truth, we all grew together. Him, myself, and our mom, because my mom is like that. My mother teaches us to express ourselves. She taught me I was taught to be in tune with my feelings. I was taught that those things were okay. But for myself and my dad, we're at a great place now, and that was a learning lesson for all of us as time evolved.
Well, you know, I'm originally from North Carolina.
Yes, sir. I was born in North Carolina.
Yeah, where at?
I was born at Duke University Hospital. That's all I know. We moved to DC when I was like 7 months old. Okay. So I was born at Duke University Hospital.
There we go.
Yeah.
So you talk about the epithets of like country living and how stoic in a sense those men were.
Ooh, yes, sir.
Yeah. There's a line that I relate directly to the South.
Mm-hmm. I know exactly the one you're talking about.
Where it says, but them Carolina preachers didn't teach these ways it will suffer and survive. If you don't get your blessings in this life, if you tithe, you when you die.
Such a whack notion, but you know what's really crazy and so powerful about that, bro, is that like that's like an actual like thing, like okay, I understand we're all raised with our element of faith and all those things, right? And it is what it is. We're like we have that, but to even conceptualize and really, if we really think deep on that concept that our life and our plight is to be here and to be comfortable with suffering because we're going to be better off when we die. Like that's an interesting epithet.
Right. Because the teaching was bear your cross and suffer. The teaching was bear your cross and suffer, because the concept is if Jesus had to suffer,
we can too.
What do you think you're not supposed to suffer? But I recall Jesus saying, "I come that you may have life and have it more abundantly."
More abundantly. But like honestly, bro, you and I both know that even that ideology is muddled in so much, and so many lies, and even muddled it. Like understand, like I'm not here to down anyone's religion. I'm not here as anti anything. However, we can all attest that that certain elements of that people use in certain parts of faith to bend to, like understand, like for certain parts of white Christianity, it was used to justify slavery. So understand even the stronghold that mentality had on people, had on our people, and like you and I both, and I know you're more than smart enough. You literally wrote about it to see these effects. You understand what I'm saying? So it's what you are doing and what multiple people. I'm so happy that we're adhering more into our mental health and our feelings and all the things, because what people don't realize is we just suffer from an overt amount of trauma, and trauma didn't have a name until like not too long, not for us anyway, You understand what I'm saying? It didn't have it like you said, it had go pray about it. It had you know, the Lord is going to see you through. It had all those things. It didn't have, hey, you know you experienced trauma, so there's certain things that you're going to feel, and here's, you know, it didn't have that to it. So I'm happy that we're getting to it more now.
Yeah. Saying that too, shameless plug for those of you who are tapped in. I'm doing the Working and Winning affirmation brunch workshop this
A
Saturday.
wonderful plug, wonderful plug.
Because it's right in line. If anyone wants to know what this affirmation brunch is, essentially we live in a time where a lot of people are always talking about how they want to manifest this and manifest that, right? They're trying to bring into fruition the things that they desire to have and the life they desire to live, right? Jesus said, I'm here to so that you may have life and have it more abundantly. And so what does it look like to manifest that? So what I'm teaching Saturday is the science and the practicality behind that teaching, so that you know it isn't just esoteric rhetoric, but it's connected to how this place was built, how the universe was built, how the earth was built. And I want to give you step-by-step practices that you can employ on a daily basis to put your spirit, your mind, and your body in the right frequency to receive what's yours.
Well, you know I'm there. You know I'm there for it. Like I told you before, when you asked me the first and general question, like I obviously have a myriad of things. Like we tapped into a little bit about the dynamic between my biological father, myself, and my father. But obviously, anybody that knows me knows that I'm a C4 through C6 quadriplegic.
Mm-hmm. Break that down for him.
In 2001, that means
you about to get
paralyzed.
Hold on, Paul. You about to get into it. Hold on before you get into it, because I want to make sure they're ready and that we set the tone for it. And before we get into that, I want to set the reminder of what you said earlier. You said your mother taught you to express yourself.
Taught it to me.
So before we go into this, y'all, before we get into his story deeply, remember that his mother was an advocate for him expressing himself, and how powerful I feel like that's about to show up in this story. Now, let's talk about the thing that, you know, sets you apart.
Just to fully explain it, what a C4 through C6 is where. So I was involved in a car accident in 2001. I broke my neck, severed my spinal cord at the C4 through C6 level, which left me paralyzed from my mid chest down. It left a few other things. It like where the nerve damages, it took away my individual finger dexterity, so I can't, you know, individually move my fingers. I'm paralyzed from my mid chest down, right? And that just is what it is. That is you know, it's what happened. Much like you said, I've been taught to express myself. I've been taught to use my mind to do all those things. Nonetheless, I was 21 years old when this happened to me, right? Prior to all these things, man, a bike rider, basketball player, football, did all those things like overtly athletic. You understand what I'm saying? Like that was my thing. You know what I'm saying? Playing basketball, doing all of these things. And also I had the time that this happened to me, my son was about 1.5 years old, about turning 2. Right. So clearly, all these things happened to me, completely changed my life. I was in the ICU for a few months. This happened to me November 3rd, 2001. So by the time I remember coming back into like consciousness, it was I don't know, man, maybe a month and a half later. You know what I'm saying? But during that time period of if they call it a coma, if they call it whatever it's called, during that time period where I was in between consciousness, the only thing that I could think about was my son. The only thing, and I kept saying, God, you got to leave me here to raise my son. God, you got to leave me here to raise my son. I know people talk about you know, seeing lights and all those things, and I'm gonna be for real with everyone. I was avoiding any light. I didn't want to go towards any element of light, any element of anything, because I needed to be here to raise my child, and that was what kept my brain and my psyche going. You know what I'm saying? And fortunate enough, God, you know, through a lot of A lot of stuff, man. A lot of stuff. During in the hospital, people gave me the wrong blood in my system, bro.
Mm.
The blood, obviously, it rejects your whole body. Is another thing that could have killed me. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, I'm still here. So, you know, God and the universe was gracious enough to adhere to that. And a vast myriad of things that happened even with my son after and thank God I survived this accident and all those things. And even from there, more things were even, you know, more difficult. I had to go through you know, fighting it to keep my son. And like I said, if I were to just be for real with you, this paralyzation stuff is it's difficult, right?
Mm.
It's difficult. And there were points where it had me down, but in truth, some of the things that went on with my son were even a deeper thing than even dealing with this. You know what I'm saying? This comes with this element of challenges. This comes with with having to put great mental fortitude on. But if we were to get into like my darkest place, bro, was honestly when I was having things go on with my child when he was taken from me, when like those were my toughest times, like dealing with this paralyzation stuff and all that. It has its throw, but my toughest times came from dealing with that.
First of all, thank you for taking us into that space. I always tell brothers, you know, people always start by saying this is a safe space. This is a safe space, and I just want to say this: the internet, so
I,
it ain't safe.
I understand, and I
So,
even have to be careful with certain things, but it is what it is.
right. So you speak from a place. Let safety be what you feel safe to say.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, and but thank you for letting us in. And for most people, I think, even for myself, if I can't speak for most people, I'm speak for myself. The idea that the you know, being paralyzed is being a problem for you, but then you be like, nah, this ain't, that has its own issues, but that's not the biggest problem. And then you to switch to be like, you taking your son from you. What I hear you telling me is that I'm here in this space, going in and out of consciousness. I'm asking God, I'm thinking to myself internally, leave me here to raise my son. And then now I'm hearing that there's spaces in your lifeline where the thing that you stayed for is becoming harder to do.
Hey, brother, and that's why you are my man. That's why you are my man, because you keyed in on it. Like aside from the fact that even when I talk about my family dynamics, I come from a very close household.
Mm.
I come from a very tight knit family. We, like I said, there are certain things that was taught to me. So when it comes to being a father and all those things, it naturally came to me because I come from, like, aside from what I already shared about my natural biological father, I actually come from, like, my father Jerome Spann implemented great things in us, and our family is very tight. So like you just said, that is the case in point. Like I attribute part of me being here to my son. Obviously, you know, I owe it to God and the blessings that I have. But like, I just mean even that mentality, like even the fact that when I close my eyes and when there's nothing else, when like my parents bought videos and different tapes and different things of him to the hospital, and my mother would tell me when they would play it, like my eyelids would move and different things because I'm experiencing all sorts of things, but my main focus was right here. Like I have a complete purpose.
Mm.
Like I'm not going to leave. I refuse to go anywhere without being sure that he's okay. So like you just said, to come full circle and like understand, bro, to survive all of that, and to come and then and like no matter what, like no matter what challenge, no matter what, bro, like I've always been there for my son from the first day of school to whatever, right? So the first part was when I was leaving from the hospital. And like I said, I'm not trying to throw my son's mother under the bus or anything of the sort. This is just the truthful element of my experience. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So like when the first part of it was I'm already uh did that mess it up, bro?
It ain't messed up. We good. Let's get back into it.
All right, for sure. I'm already fighting for my life. And on top of that, right, to have to hear someone like tell people that I don't think he's going to be able to take care of his child. I don't think that, like, I should have sole custody because he won't be able to do this and he won't be able to do this. This is probably even being given a chance to do anything. You see what I'm saying? So to have that and to have to overcome that, and then later on in life, after I've already I've already done things and I've already been here to raise my son. My son was abruptly taken from me in a manner that it wasn't supposed to go down in per the legalities and all those things. And I'll just leave it at that. And I had to find him. I had to do all sorts of things, bro. Had to do all sorts of things. And like, even with that, that there was like manipulation that tried to cause a wedge in between he and I. They tried to make it to whereas, that we're going to be beefing and and all those things. Like I said, I'm trying to tap dance around certain things, but just to get into that feeling, to what you said, I attribute part of me being here to my son, because that's all that I could think about, right? And he's been a part of my life, and I've been a part of his life from conception, not from the time he was born, from the time I was told that I was going to be a father. Immediate action from that point. See what I'm saying? So to have this little dude, man, I'm talking about, bro, the man was with me in college and all these things, like right there with me. And to have him with me by my side, like even during the court process and all these things, I had him straight down the middle. I had him Sunday through Wednesday. Like I let the judge know I'm not doing none of that every other weekend stuff, none of that. Like I had it straight down the middle. And to have that for 14 years, and then to have him abruptly taken from me, that was my point, bro. That was my point. Like I said, this paralyzation stuff carries its own weight, and I can tie that into all those other things later. But when for me, the closest thing that I've ever been to depressed, Yusha, is during that period of my life. This paralyzation stuff, God has built me for certain things. He's built me to not allow certain things to overcome me. But that place, because you care about something so much greater than you, and on top of that, like my element of the story, the fact that I'm part in my mind, I'm partly here because of that. So that part, that was my toughest point in life.
So if you with your son, right? So you're with your son 14 years. You've obviously proven that despite your situation, you can adequately care for.
Adequately.
When he's 14 years old, he gets abruptly taken away from you, and you say this is like your breaking point, right? Tell us how that felt. I want an emotion from you if you can give it to us.
Foggy, bro. It felt foggy. It felt everything that I know, everything that's important to me, everything everything that I work for. Like understand, like when you have a kid, like your life isn't like solely yours anymore. You understand what I'm saying? Like your thought, and at least it was for me. I can only speak for myself. I can't speak to everybody else's parenting experience. For me, like it's one of the first things that I thought of, and I was overtly blessed, and I really reveled in this job. Like I enjoyed it, and like understand, my son is my friend. It's like my little friend. Like it's my little homie that's been there from the very beginning. So I was foggy. I was lost. I was discombobulated. Slightly on edge, because like certain parts of that element of love and that element, it's comforting, bro. Like I almost died. You understand? Like I almost lost my life. Like I like and mentality, my body shape that I was in, and being young kept me here. But I know more than anything else, this and my complete will to know that I'm going to be here to raise my child kept me here. So during that time period, it was overtly difficult because it was just really difficult, and if I could describe it, foggy and lost.
Thank you for that. So you're in this foggy place, this lost place, right? And it sounds like lost is not necessarily that you couldn't find your way. It sounds more like lost purpose.
I didn't even know which way to go. Like I would just sit sometimes and just try to figure out. Like understand, I've never had a and understand. Like I'm taking you back to this place because we're absolutely wonderful. My son is 24, which makes things so full circle. My son is 24 years old now. Like I said, I'm already a grandfather of one, and I'm soon to have a granddaughter soon. So I'm just taking us back to this place. But yeah, but that was, you know, that was the most difficult, bro. Like
Paul, if you could describe how did you cope with it, right? Like I want to know, but before I want to know how did you cope with it, like describe the condition of your spirit during that time.
I'm a like I said, I was taught certain things, so none of this stuff is just overtly of me. I mean, some of it is of me because I was able to have this groundwork. So I was taught certain things. So my mental fortitude has always been fairly tough as far as just handling things by the way that they come, as far as my physical situation and all those things. This part hit me differently. Um, like I said, when I'm just worried, just focused on me, it just is what it is. I can compartmentalize that. When I had to think about him, I had to think about his psyche and even what he was going through, in addition to what I'm going through. You understand what I'm saying? Like, understand what I know is my as a job as a parent, it's my job to completely protect him all the way across the board. You understand what I'm saying? So like it was he's been fed misinformation, and it was just hurtful all across the board because I can't reach him. I can't change that narrative.
Mm.
Um, and not that I'm not like a control freak or anything of the sort, but that element of it is really way beyond my control right now. So that it, and understand my certain parts of my physicality are gone. So the only thing I like, what I know is how important this space in between your two ears is. Like I know it. So like when I can't even rely on that, what else does a person like me have? You understand what I'm saying? It's not like I can jump up and fly to Florida or fly to wherever it is I need to go to find them anything. Like I'm using all of this, and now even this is a bit foggy on me right now. So it was tough.
How did you what were you using to cope during the time? How were you coping with that? How were you
Um, Prayer, family, my good man Adam Butler. Shout out to my man, the Butler did it. In truth, he helped me find my son via Instagram, which is crazy enough. So that was a place for me. We was a good place for me. uh, and it, like eventually, to tell you the truth, bro, what really kicked it and helped everything kick back into me was being back in contact with my son, and having the ability to ease back into things, and then get my my sense and sensibility about me and all those things, and slowly gather it that way, but with a whole lot of intestinal fortitude, and just a lot of outside love from people pouring into me. You know what I'm saying? That's what helped ultimately.
how long was that time period that you lost him and got him back?
In truth, like I said, I ain't man. My homie was gone for almost a year and a half, bro. Where and I'll tell you this. I'll tell you a story. Um, I hadn't seen him for like a year and a half, right? And I my parents had to go on a business trip to Florida, to where he was at. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm going with y'all because if I have it's just a chance to see him, I'm gonna see him. And I get there, we go to the house where he's supposed to be. This lady tells us he's not there. Mind you, he's 15 at this time, so it was many years ago. Many years ago. He's 15, and I hadn't seen him for almost like a year and a half. And I called him. So I'm like, hey man, I'm here in Florida, where are you at? And blah, 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 blah. So from then, and I can tell that, that the situation is happening, and his mother is there and she's probably hovering over him. So he proceeds to say to me, he's like, Dad, until you're, not trying to take mom to court, until you're not trying, I'm not talking to you. I'm not going anywhere with you. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. And just goes into a whole spiel, right? Just goes into it. And so I'm just sitting there and it's just, mind you, and I still haven't seen him. See what I'm saying? So that happens, and I'm appreciative to my parents because they raised me with enough fortitude to know that I'm still here to protect him and to teach him as a man. So I didn't, who you think you talking to? I didn't get combative. I didn't do any of those things because it's still my job to always lead with love. Right. So I took that one on like I ate it. I ate that, you know what I'm saying? I ate it and it really hurt me bad. But what I did from that, and like I don't want to jump the gun on talking about solutions and all those things, but what I did from that, I created a Facebook group, and it had my son's name in it, and it said, son, we love and miss you, and here's what's going on. So what I did was I had other people that he grew up with to be in the group, to talk to him, to like I didn't want to create that combative environment to where I'm talking like, who you think you talking to, little nigga? Nah. We've never had that type of relationship, and I didn't want to have that with him, right? But I'll tell you this: we went to Miami right after that happened, and my guy, I was wilding. I'm talking about real live wilding, bro. Like I was so hurt, like I couldn't even talk about it. Like my little sister asked me what happened, and I couldn't even talk about it. Like I was in Miami wilding, bro, like real live wilding. I'm on the beach smoking with whoever. I'm out there. I'm kicking it with 8, 9 different women. Like real live. Lost my phone. Smoking with Plexico Burress. I had a wild time. But it's like my heart was hurting so bad from that exchange. And it's like I said, I had enough fortitude to know that I'm not going to go off the rails with him. But it was still overt. Like when your heart is full. Like I just want to lay my eyes on you for 2 seconds. It'll make me feel so much better than to have that, like just to be punched like that. Like it was tough.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I know I got the sirens on my side.
Yeah. So it's all good.
I live in the city. That's
Hey man, you already know that. Like I told you, that's where I grew
really
up.
live in the city.
That's where I grew up. In Anacostia, no less.
Right. So here's this moment where you find him. You know where he's at. You go to see him. And the moment you talk to him, you can hear from his conversation that there's been influence all the way in Florida. And so being rejected in a sense, because that's the feeling that's connected to that. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the feeling is
no, yes, sir. And by my main homie, by my main man, yeah.
Rejection puts you in a place where, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm just putting what you told me in my own words. It puts you in a place where, at least for a day or two, it looked like you ain't want to think.
Wasn't caring about nothing. Wasn't caring. I didn't want to think. I didn't want to feel. I didn't want to think about it. Like, understand, when we first get there, my little sister asked me, what happened? Did you see it? That's the first, obviously that's the first thing that any human being is going to ask. You know what I'm saying? So understand, when met with that question, I just looked at her and I can't even talk. I said, you can talk to talk to mom and dad about it. Like I can't, you know.
I
So no, I didn't.
want to pause on that.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I want to pause on that is because it is often difficult to get men, me included, to sit in, verbalize, and explain emotion. Even if we try to express ourselves, it still sounds very logical,
Right.
head
Right.
based. But I know from personal experience, and I was talking with the homie last night about it, what it feels like to experience something so difficult that the last thing you want to do
Let's talk about it.
think
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or feel.
Mm-hmm.
Like the weight of that, the weight of saying this is too hurtful to process, right? Because that's what essentially we're talking about, right? I don't want to think, I don't want to feel. That means I don't want to process it. If
Mm-hmm.
anything, I want to potentially act like
It never
it
happened.
never happened.
Mm-hmm. I like understand. For me to even answer my sister's question, I had to go back and think about what just happened. You understand? Even for me to give her an answer, for me to say, "Oh, here's what happened," I had to go back there.
So I don't want to answer my sister, but and this is what I'm getting to, Paul. I don't want to answer my sister because I don't want to think, I don't want to feel, I don't want to process. But the truth is, real life. This is real life. If I want to live in this reality, I gotta process that. And you know what? I don't want to process that. And this is what I think is super key for all men. I don't want to process that. So what I'm about to do is I'm about to go escape.
And I didn't process it, and that's exactly what I did. I didn't process it none that time that we were there. Didn't process it at all, and I'm not joking, bro. I was out there, Joan, wilding like real life. Like my folks was in business meetings, my sister and everybody, they were all occupied. They were in meetings. Like I said, I came along for the sole purpose of trying to see my son. It's the only reason that I came along for. I had to stay there. So I rode my chair from like 12th Street all the way down to Ocean Drive. I'm sure you've been to Miami, right?
Right.
I rode my chair, bro. I went from the Clevelander, like I was gonna hit every bar. I was gonna hit every one of them. I started at the Clevelander. By the time I got to I went to Wet Willie's and had that stupid dumb drink, that stupid dumb tall drink that they give you there. I had that. By the time I got to Mangoes, I was blasted. I was blasted. I was trying to go inside, but I was blasted. I had to go out on the beach. I took myself like an hour nap. Smooth on my dolos. Yusha, on my dolos, just me out there. Like anything could have happened to me. You understand what I'm saying?
See, this is the critical part, right? We getting there. This is the critical part. Because that escape is the escape that most of our brothers who have went through that dark period of the soul, that escape is the thing they don't come back from. Because in that world where weed or and weed is what it is, right? It's not necessarily the worst thing to do, but in that place, weed, alcohol, especially drugs, especially sexual addictions, especially gambling addictions, especially in that escape of me not wanting to process, so I'm going to escape, is where some of our brothers get lost, because we know some of our brothers who went through very difficult times and they never came back from that place. That place where I don't want to process. Maybe it was just a weekend for you, but even if it was, how did you come back?
I'm about to be 100% honest with you. I don't know if like there's a myriad of things that even happened with that. Like I wasn't able to see my son graduate high school. There are certain things that was lost there, and there are certain things that not that I dwell on and I regret, but I'm gonna always like he and I are very 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 close. Like there's certain things that I've done since he was in kindergarten. getting all these pictures, getting all these things. There's certain things that I had in my head that I wanted to do by the time he graduated. A certain, you understand, like a whole thing that I wanted to experience that I never had the ability to. So in truth, I'm a lot better. I don't know if I'm like I still think about that. I don't think about it in that, but I don't know if I don't even know if I'm 100% healed from it.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm definitely not what I was, because life is better. He and I are in a great place and all those things. But even that thought process, I still think about not being able to see my son graduate high school and all those things. Not that it impedes me in life, but I still think about that if I'm being 100% honest with you. You understand what I'm saying? So with that, like now I just focus my
How
intents and
does
all
that
those.
feel?
Say it again.
When you think about it, how does it feel?
Um, about that part, about that not seeing my son, I feel a little bit robbed, bro. To tell you the truth, like understand, like some certain things are important to me, like money, like I know we all got to live and provide a way for ourselves and all that. Money and all that stuff don't mean nothing to me. Like I know that we have to live and we have to do, but like experiences, like the love that I had with my family and all those things, that means something to me. So like that feeling, like it just kind of sucks. And I know, like I said, I'm being 100% honest. Like I know that it isn't something to harp on to impede me from moving forward in life, because all of us are living wonderfully, but it's still something that I think about. And I
But
don't know if I
but it's
go ahead.
hitting me, Paul, and I'm gonna tell you why it's hitting me, because you talked, bro, like you paralyzed, and you talked earlier about the process of being paralyzed and how it comes with stuff, but you didn't use that word to describe that. But here we're talking about, and what I'm taking it from early on when you said, "Lord, keep me here for my child." Keep
So
me
can I tell you one thing
now.
about this paralyzation stuff? The reason that it's secondary, because that's what I asked God for. I asked him to leave me here. I didn't know I was paralyzed at the time. But like understand, I didn't ask him to not be paralyzed. I asked him to be here to raise my son. That's what I asked him for, and he allowed me to do so, and I have clarity in mind. So like this stuff that comes with this, like understand, bro, it sucks. I'm writing about this in the book and all this stuff, and I'm being 100% honest and transparent. Like that, it's some crazy. If I could turn my camera around right now, I could show you the Hoya lift that I got to use to get up in the morning. The like understand something, even from a creative standpoint, bro. You're a creative. I'm a creative. There's a million things that go in and out of my mind all the time. I have to tell people how I need to execute things. You understand what I'm saying? I can't just, if I want to just jump up and do something new. Like I have to. Can you help me get this set up? Can you help? You understand what I'm saying? So that comes with that just comes with elements of frustration and things to go beyond. But this stuff with my son, it was even much deeper. Like I said, this is what I asked God for specifically. Like I didn't know, like muscle atrophy and all this stuff takes a while to set. And honestly, bro, I didn't know I was paralyzed until the doctor told me I was. Didn't know I had this that neck brace on it. So all I could, for months, all I could do is look straight forward. And when the young lady that first hit me, she ran into like the driver's side door, and it broke my ribs, collapsed my lung, and all that. So I had a tracheotomy and all this other stuff. So like I said, I didn't even know I was paralyzed until the man told me I was. So like I know specifically what I prayed for, what I opined for. So like I said, that was the most difficult thing when because it, like you said earlier, it ties into this situation. You
Because
understand what I'm
you
saying?
pray for is the thing that you care for the most. And now we're looking at your son who's 24, and not to revisit the pain, but I think this is the critical key, because what you said, I asked you, how did you come back from that place? And you said, you didn't say it verbatim, but you kind of said, I don't know if I fully came back all the way.
Because like and here's what I mean. I don't mean it like I said. I like to be completely analytical of myself, and I mean it in this way. Like understand, I told you that story about him not great, and I find myself repeating that to him a lot. You understand what I'm saying? Like, man, it really sucks. So that's what I mean from that. And then probably that's something that I have to completely, process and resonate with it and figure out what I'm truthfully, thinking, and why that's something that keep comes up to me. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
is this a new revelation for you or no?
Just talking about it right now out loud, it's a self-reflective one for me that really made me think. Gosh, I say this more than once because I had to have this conversation with you out loud. But I've said it more than once. So it's kind of a thought-provoking epiphany. Yeah. So, yeah. But like I said, it's not like a unhealthy place. I'm just analyzing that part. So we're like I said, like
It's not
we're
necessarily unhealthy, but it's still sitting with you.
yeah.
My question for you is, what parts of that do you want to let go?
It's probably pertinent to but you know what? I gotta address that feeling, bro. Like what? Like, is it? Am I spiteful? I'm like, what is that? Because like I said, like we're great. He graduated, went on to college, did all those things, and is an awesome, great young man. I don't know that.
Progress doesn't undo what was did.
Right.
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 It puts layers on top of it to make you not focus on it.
Right.
But obviously, from your expression, that's still something that lives with you because you're like,
yeah, something I think about.
Because
you know what it is, bro.
I'll never be able to share my child with my father because my father's gone. Right. I'll never be able to share my child with my father. He died before she was born. But now you're looking at a scenario where you're like, I will never be able to share that moment with you, but you're still here.
And we can't never retract that. It can't never go back. But you know what, bro? I'm happy and I'm grateful. I'm grateful to that. Like I said, I know there's always something that's great that's going to come out of this conversation because it helped me. Now that's something that I really need to identify and work on. I think I felt robbed, bro. If I'm being for real, and because understand something, man. This stuff isn't easy. I had to, like, when my son was going through school, he went to school in Montgomery County. I had to learn the ride on bus system. I rode the subway all the way out to Shady Grove. I learned the ride on bus system to be at everything. You understand what I'm saying? Like I rode this chair. Me and this chair rode 1.5 miles up the road against traffic to get certain places. You understand what I'm saying? So like to do all that and to have all the engine and know certain parts of what my purpose and why I wanted to do certain things. Yeah, it was just a blow. But and I thank you for even saying that out loud because I need to stop. Yeah.
How do you plan to stop?
Now that I'm even like, I don't know. I'm like to reconcile with like that's an element of life that happened, and to honestly get past the what was taken from me feeling. And I don't exactly know as of yet, but I know that the first element of it right now is just recognizing that part of it and actively going towards that. I don't want to keep telling, like I said, that this conjured it up because we're talking about all the things that led to it, but I don't want to keep telling that story, and I don't want to keep bringing it up to my son.
I want to encourage you to do exactly what you said, to figure out how to get past that for yourself. I still recognize, right, despite that you have been able to rectify with your child.
Most definitely. God is great. And I can even tell you how it came full circle. like I said, and that small element of it, I'm really gonna have to dig deep and really do a little more fortitude. But a few months ago, right? Well, firstly, I'll tell you this: all these things happened around the time when he was 15 years old. When he was 17 years old, he calls me. He just calls me and he goes, Dad, I'm coming to see you. And I go, all right, bet. And I said, when are you gonna be here? He said, Dad, I'm gonna be there in 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So God is great. Like he flew in, came and I reconciled with him. He came and he's going to start doing all this talking, Dad, blah blah blah. And I just gave him a hug, and it was just all good. Like it wasn't. I was just happy that he was here with me, right? So let's go. Probably last year, he's probably 23 years old, right? He calls me. He goes, Dad, I just want to talk to you. And I go, what's up? He said, just listen to me. He said, don't say it's all good. Don't say that it's cool. Don't say none of that. He goes, I just want to apologize to you. I'm like, what's up? He's like, I'm a father now. And like, even though I was a kid, even though, what happened, the way it happened, he was like, I know it hurt you and I know it hurt you badly. He's like, I just want to, as a man, as a father, and I just want to apologize to you. Right. And, you know what I'm saying? Because understand, I wasn't holding anything with he and I knew what brought him to that point. But even to have the fortitude and know that even while we were going through all these things, what I am overtly proud of is knowing that I'm still teaching him. You understand what I'm saying? Like even the things that were going on, man. Like I said, I'm not trying to get too much into it, but even the things that were going on, he was doing what I taught him to do. I taught him to protect women. You understand? So he felt that he needed to protect. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a convoluted situation, but at the same time, like like what I do know is still all the things that we put out and put into the universe and thinking about things larger than ourselves matters, because it did have him have the ability to inwardly reflect. And that's what he said to me without any prompting from me or anything of the sort.
That's good, right? That's good. Right? His manhood, his matriculation into fatherhood gives him a different window. And we can't, completely speak on him because he's not here. But I love the fact
Right.
there's this full circle moment that he has. That kind
Right.
of also frees you a little bit.
A lot.
It frees you a little bit because there's validation now. And me and often talk about we don't need validation, but there's validation now because it's like you get it.
Hey, you should, bro. Like you hit, like understand something. Like understand for me, like I even and like I said, I'm only talking about this time period of my life.
Right.
During that time period, like the court system did nothing for me. That even and the key word that you hit on when you hit on validation, right? So as we're going through all these things and the rift is trying to be grown, and is like, you're doing this to mom, you're doing this, you're doing, all I'm trying to do is see my child, right? I'm thinking to myself, like, well, I'm gonna finally, like, when we go to court, when he can see that I'm doing the right thing, I'm doing the legal thing, I'm doing what any sane person would do, that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Like, I'm in my mind, I'm going, man, so he'll see that this is the way it is. I go to court, bro. She doesn't show up, then any of those things happen. She doesn't get a failure to appear in court. She doesn't get any of those things. She doesn't get nothing. Essentially, the judge says to me that I can go there and extradite him myself, go there, get a sheriff, go there, do all these things. Is what they told me. Like, so even when you said that part about validate, it's like I'm waiting for this to happen, because I'm just like, all right, well, cool. Now he's going to see that I was just doing what I was supposed to do and not anything, that I wasn't supposed to. So like, yes, you're 100% correct. Like I said, I didn't hold anything against him, but at the same time, it really did help. It really was like that it helped me greatly, because that was like I said, I understand where that stuff came from, but it's still a hurtful feeling.
Did all you could, huh?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. Like you
And it
know,
didn't,
like I said,
and it did, and it didn't work
not
immediately.
not at that time.
Not immediately, but it eventually did.
It did, because those see like and that's like I say, when we, those are the thing, like that's where the fortitude, that's the part where I get to encouraging people. That's the part where I say, listen, like, understand, man, like something that I always say, bro, we are not in control of the circumstances of life. There are all sorts of things that are going to happen. We're in control of how we respond to those circumstances. That's what we're in control of. So like the things that happen, like I just did my best to tap into, and not just on my own, not just by myself. Like I'm aided, bro. Like I have a absolutely wonderful family. Like I said, certain elements of these practices were taught to me. So who knows how far off I would be had I not had that already instilled in me. You understand what I'm saying? Like I can't never claim that I've ever had like flat out depression. But I know for me, the closest thing was during this time period. Like I said, we can discuss all this paralyzation. This paralyzation stuff is ill. It's crazy stuff that goes with. But my toughest time in life was that time period of my life with my child, not this.
Yeah, and it speaks to this too, Paul. Like metaphorically, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
When a farmer plants a seed in the ground, we often use the terminology. We say, "Oh, this farmer grew his crop." No, he didn't. He planted it.
Mm,
The soil grew it.
mm,
The environment grew it.
mm,
Because once he planted it in the ground, the seed itself disappeared.
mm.
So now this farmer has to come outside every day and till the soil, nurture the soil, not the seed, the soil. Has
This.
to till the soil, nurture the soil, remove the weeds from the soil. Because the only thing he knows is that I've planted something in this environment. I planted something in this space that I can no longer see, but I'm trusting that the work I'm doing on the environment is cultivating space for the seed to grow because it's out of my hands now. The only thing I can do is continue to build an environment, nurture an environment that pre-chance this thing does grow, it grows to its full potential.
Bro, hey, bro, you couldn't have worded that in like you couldn't have worded that any more perfect. Like I said, even with the with and this is the part of my encouragement for people going through it. And even if I were to take it a step higher and just literally talk about fatherhood and even those difficult times because it's really a problem, bro. Like it really is of having, your child be used as a pawn, of having all those things. If I were to have a moment to encourage, I would say this: exactly what you talked about, exactly what you just said in that analogy you used is exactly what it is. I mean, exactly what it is. Like one thing that I knew is something that I always told to my son. Like there's only one truth, right? There's different versions of it, and there's different people's perspective of it. You understand what I'm saying? But like there's one truth, and I know that like when I was going through these things, Yusha, it hurt me. Like it hurt me. But I slept well at night because I know the type of man and the father that I've always been. You understand what I'm saying? Like it hurt me. But I knew I know I've always led with nothing but love. I know that, like, and understand. I'm about to bring it even more full circle to tell you even where these feelings come from. I already explained to you about the dynamic between my biological father and my father. So understand, there are certain feelings that I felt like there's certain things that I couldn't understand as a child, that I couldn't grapple with, like how someone could be completely cognizant of me and just not have any dealings with me. So from that, there are certain things that I knew that I never wanted my son to experience,
Right.
that I never wanted him to feel. Like I never wanted him to feel that confusion. I never wanted him to feel like I didn't want. I never wanted him to feel that. You understand what I'm saying? So when I told you from the beginning, this it's a myriad, like it's a three part with me, because it's that part of it, and even how that spilled over into me as a father and as a parent. You see what I'm saying? So like you already alluded to, everything matters, bro.
And you said it, right? We can't control the circumstances. We can only control our response. Because if you had allowed the circumstance to shatter the condition of your heart, you would have stayed on that beach in Miami. And when your son called you at 17, you would have not had a place for him to come back to.
How about that?
And so, but that's the key. The key here,
that?
especially for us as men or human beings, period, is that we go through these difficult things in life and we allow it to distort, destroy, corrode the condition of our heart.
Yes.
So that when the thing returns, we don't have what we need to receive it.
Yes, sir.
Or when the thing we're looking for finally reaches us, we're not in position to receive it because we allow the circumstances to override, destroy the condition of the heart.
And that's something that, like I said, even at my lowest point, that I thank God for that element of fortitude and for my folks and for the things that were instilled in me. Like I never want to, and even let me say this, like I get this a lot, right? People come up to me and I've talked to them. They say things to me like, man, like I go to complain when I think about you and what you got to go through and all that. I don't complain. I know what I'm going through is just small. And honestly, bro, I don't like that. Right? I don't like that because understand something. This is my element of challenge. This is what God has set on me, but I don't make little or belittle anything that anyone else is going through. You understand what I'm saying? Like I'm appreciative of people's admiration. I'm appreciative of those things, but I'm also empathetic in the way of like I've been given certain tools and gifts. You understand what I'm saying? And I know how that resonates and who and what I am. I know that that's what helps me navigate through all of this stuff. You understand what I'm saying? So like those places where I'm weaker at, I appreciate this part of exchange. Like I appreciate my element of inspiration for other people, but I also appreciate the realism and the reality that comes back to me, because it also gives me the ability to let people know and share with them like anything that there's just because like there's going to always be a situation that would be grave or anything than yours, but it doesn't diminish what you're going through.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So we should all be empathetic to that's like pain is not a contest. You know what I'm saying? So I hope people, realize that, and we just keep, contributing to the complete element of healing.
For sure. Paul, I want to thank you, man. Just for the sake of time, we want to start to close.
Yeah.
Man, what I want to know is I want to do these 3 P's with you, man. I want to know, at this time in your life, man, how do you maintain your peace, your power, and your purpose? So I'm just going to ask you, and whatever comes to mind, you quickly give it to us. So I'll start with and I'm pausing so I can edit it right.
No problem.
When do you feel most peaceful?
When I have my outlets, when I'm creating things, and when I'm with and around my family, and I know that the things that I'm doing is contributing to our future, I'm at complete peace. I'm at complete peace. And in truth, bro, I'm at complete peace in front of a microphone to be truthful with you.
There we go. When do you feel most purposeful?
Doing things for others. As like contributing in the micro level to my personal family and ensuring that I'm pouring enough into my child and my grandchildren to they are productive members of society, and that they're contributing positively to the energy circle. And then from the micro level, going it out into the world, like what the things that I can do in the community. And then from that, what I can do to help change mindset. That's when I feel the most purposeful, because like the future and thought processes are going to change the world.
Got you. Thank you for that. When do you feel most powerful?
exchanging and watching the fruits of that. Like with Mindstream Ready and all this stuff, we had the ability to do some some great stuff. We had all sorts of entertainment stuff that we did and all that. But larger than that, bro, being on the train, right, and having a kid that's probably 18 or 19 years old now come up and, what's up, Mr. Paul? I remember when you came to our school, and I remember when you did this. Now I'm going to Morgan State, and I'm taking up videography, and I'm taking up that. That's all the power I need. Like I have ideologies of chasing a dollar, because there's certain things that I need for my livelihood, myself, my son, and my grandchildren. But the power comes from that.
Man, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for tapping in with us today. Peace, power, and purpose.
Yes, sir.
Y'all stay tuned Sunday through Thursday nights for the entire month of May, because May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Our guest tonight, Paul Spann,
yes, sir,
took us to a place which I think is really, really good. I think we got some really key understanding. I want to dig in more on this month. He sparked it all, but I want to dig in this more month for this conversation about where brothers go to escape and how many of our brothers don't come back from it, and having a conversation of our brothers who do come back from it and what it took to come back. But I love you, brother. I appreciate you tapping in with us today.
Love you right back, brother, and I thank you. And listen, I'm overtly happy to. I remember when you came to the studio, and I remember all the initiatives and just being so impressed, and with the With Great Care initiative and all the things that you had going on even back then, and to see all the stuff that's happening now, it's nothing but love. And anytime you need me for any and everything, just hit me up.
Love, bro. Always.
Always. Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you. Blessings, King.
All right, man. We still hot?
Yeah, you can go out. You can leave out. I gotta shut it down.
All right.